All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our December 11th, 2025 meeting of the Ascension Parish Council. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you would please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. So before we say the pledge, I'd be remiss. So yesterday we laid to rest a excellent man that I'm sure most everybody knows, Mr. Blaine Sheets. For 40 years now, he's been just business owner, philanthropy. He's been a mentor to myself, and I know many other, and deeply missed and all that stuff. And that man had a 3-hour waiting line at his service yesterday. So just to speak the volumes of what he meant to Ascension Parish. So I want to mention him, and let's keep his family in our prayers. Dear Lord, please grant us the wisdom and the guidance tonight for a great debate, excellent respect amongst each other. Let's do what's best by Ascension Parish residents. And please, everyone, have a very Merry Christmas and holidays with your family. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let's see. Roll call, Madam Secretary. We are missing Mr. Turner and Miss Pam. I'm sorry, I was having an aneurysm apparently. All of the members are present. Chair's additions, I do want to remind everyone our January schedule is a little altered. We pushed everything back a week. So instead of the 1st and the 15th, our meetings will be the 8th and the 22nd in January. And a reminder to, happy holidays. So I hope everyone enjoys their free time and all that good stuff. It is my favorite time of the year. Item number 4, the public comment sign-in period. If anyone would like to speak on any of our agenda items, please come see Ms. McKee over here. She has the red and green cards. Whenever we get to that agenda item, you will have 3 minutes to speak at the podium. And number 5, so Ms. Quimall is on vacation, and we have temporary parish president, Mr. CEO, Ricky Compton.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. First, I want to wish each of you, our staff, and our residents a joyful holiday season. We're looking forward to 2026, and we'll continue to prepare and plan to make Ascension Parish the best it can be. I have a brief 72-slide presentation I'd like to run through real quick. Actually, I'm just kidding. It's only 52 slides, so I'm sorry, not really.
It's not as funny as you.
So last week, our friends at APSO came over to gather our donations for Bobby Weber's Christmas Crusade. This is our favorite time of year to help those in need. There's still time to donate. We're accepting donations in the lobby of the Ascension Parish Administrative Complex. We'll put the gifts under the tree and make sure they get to the sheriff's office in time. Ascension Parish government had a great time serving our senior citizens last week at the Gonzalez Christmas party. It was a packed house, and we look forward to this partnership continuing in the future years. I'd like to congratulate the Ascension Catholic football team. They're playing in the Superdome tonight in the state championship. Kickoffs at 7 versus Riverside Academy, and go Bulldogs. DOTD will host a ribbon cutting tomorrow for the LA 70 widening and roundabout project on Friday, December 12th at 9:30 a.m. That will be at the Ascension Tourism Commission building on Highway 22. The last sock hop of the year is tomorrow, December 12th, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Ascension Gym. This one is going to be sponsored by the APSO, and of course it is Christmas themed. All of you are invited to attend as well. A Taste of Christmas will be at Duplessis Park this Saturday, December 13th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Duplessis Park. There will be local vendors, live music, photos with Santa, food trucks, and more. The ATT Expo Gonzalez Holiday Market will be at the Rev Center on Lamar Dixon this weekend. Over 260 vendor booths will be there. Come out and finish your Christmas shopping. Friday, December 12th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, December 13th from 10 a.m. to 5, and Sunday, December 14th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. As a reminder, all parish government offices will be closed on Wednesday, December 24th and Thursday, December 25th in observance of Christmas. The parish will reopen again on Monday, December 29th. For New Year's, all parish government offices will be closed on Wednesday, December 31st, and Thursday, January 1st. The parish will open again on Monday, January 5th. And this concludes my report.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Compton? Yeah, Mr. Robey.
What's that place across from the, I forget, on 22?
Oh, that is the Cajun Village across from the
Okay.
Ascension Tourism Commission.
All right, agenda item number 6, the consent agenda. At this time, would anyone like to remove any item from the consent agenda for further discussion? All right. Motion to approve the consent agenda by Mr. Hillensbeck, a second by Mr. Vornado. Any questions? And are there any objections? Hearing none, so move. 7A, general business, approval of amendment number 1, the master contract for professional services for the architectural design for Animal Services Center with Mugio Architect LLC to extend the contract term to December 31st, 2026, and is retroactive to October 21st, 2025. This amendment only extends the contract term and does not affect the original contract price. I have a motion by Ms. Petey and a second by Mr. Vornado. Are there any questions? Any objection? Hearing none, so move. 7B, approval of cooperative endeavor agreement with Women's Hospital Foundation, Women's Healthcare Services to the residents of Ascension Parish. Payment to the provider would be $14,250 per month. Ms. Colleen, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all doing? Good.
You just want to give a,
Yes, I'm happy to. So this is one of 2 contract amendments that are on the agenda tonight. This first one is for Women's Hospital to provide women's health services in the health unit. And so this is, and those services that are currently in Our Lady of the Lakes contract will be removed. So, anybody have any
do we
questions for me about
have any
women's?
questions for Ms. Colleen? No? I have a motion approved by Mr. Joseph. A second by Mr. Vornado. Any objections? Hearing none, so moved. 7C, approval of amendment number 1 to the cooperative endeavor agreement with Our Lady of the Lake Hospital Incorporated to remove women's health services and adjust payment accordingly due to contracting with Women's Hospital to provide these services. The new amount would be $341,666.67 per month, beginning November 1st, 2025. Right, okay, so Mr. Hillensbeck, he wants to offer a substitute motion, so we do have the revised, red line copy that we received a few weeks ago. We made those changes from the one that is on the agenda. So we have that hard copy that's been distributed to the council, and Mr. Hillensbeck is making a substitute motion to approve this CEA.
No, I want it to go out for bid. I would like for it to go out to bid.
Oh, to go out for bid. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were.
Yeah, no, I'm talking
Okay.
about for bid.
Oh, so Mr. Hillensbeck has a motion to put the hospital services out for bid. All right, we have a second by Mr. Robert. Are there any objections? We have a
Yes,
question
sir.
by Mr. Joseph.
The substitute contract, in your mind, that benefit the service in the future? It enhance the service we
Yes.
had from previous contract?
Yes. So the substitute was removing, I mean, it's still, the original one you received had removed the women's health services and had corrected a few of the activities that are in the addendum in the back. And I can go through these, and Our Lady of the Lake is also here to go through these and give a presentation on what they've accomplished. But I do believe that it improves the services. There were a couple of things in there, such as doing EPSDT screenings, which are the screenings, the vision and hearing screenings that are done in schools. When this was written, at the time, Our Lady of the Lake was providing those services in East Baton Rouge schools, because they also provided the school nurses in East Baton Rouge schools. They don't do that here. Our schools have our own school nurses, so those services are provided by our school nurses. So that has been removed from here. There are also some metrics that were updated, just becoming more specific and making sure it was data that they could provide to us. There was a change made to, if it's on page 17 of this contract, but it says operation of a full-service mobile health unit on the West Bank. That was changed from a full-service health clinic, because we are in the process of the parish of, we're going to renovate that building and make it accessible to more than just Our Lady of the Lake. So Capital Area Human Services, they provide mental health services, behavioral health services. FINS, which is Families in Need of Services, they're regularly, we would like to see Women's Hospital be able to come over to the West Bank once we get established over here on the East Bank. So that was changed for, because right now they're in that mobile health unit. Our Lady of the Lake would also have space in that renovated health unit on the west side as well. So- How long would that renovation take? The west side.
So the proposed renovation? I mean, I would suspect that's less than a year because we're not really doing any major renovations. But when we get in there, we're probably updating all the floors, all the walls. There's some ceiling, drop ceiling stuff we're gonna have to do. We're gonna be moving some walls to create the new suite space. It likely will end up being a year, because you know, everything seems to take longer these days. But that's a best guess, because we haven't even started work on the design yet, so.
And you gotta deal with permits, that's gonna be.
That's right.
So just from going from the clinic to the mobile clinic, that's gonna slow rates down too, huh? Or less people?
Go in, well, so they're in the mobile clinic now, so that clinic, there's nothing, that building currently is not used for public health services. We stopped providing public health services over there in 2015. And so when Our Lady of the Lake took over, well, started this contract, they then purchased a mobile health unit, and that health unit has been operating on the West Bank and will continue to, and they are expanding the days that they'll be on the West Bank as well. They're adding Donaldsonville High School. They'll be doing that too.
I just think that's high.
Mr. Varnado.
And I think, didn't we change the contract to purchase any assets? That would be ours,
Yes, thank you,
correct?
yes,
Okay.
that was changed. And that any assets purchased will remain ours. They will be transferred, they're ours.
Okay. I'll make an amended motion to, I guess, enter this into the record, this contract that we got, and make an amended motion to approve this.
Oh.
The red line copy.
He can make an amended motion. Yeah. You can have two motions on the floor. The most recent one is the one you'd vote on. Should it fail, we would revert to vote on the original. All right, so Mr. Vornado has made a substitute motion to approve the amended agreement, amended CA that we have. I have a second from Mr. Joseph on that. So before we vote, or whatever, I mean, I believe OL has a slideshow presentation.
Yes.
Oh, and one question for Mr. Arsenault. Oh, and I keep missing Blaine. We have two more questions, for sure. Mr. Arsenault.
Should it go out to bid, what does that do to our current situation?
I mean, we would continue providing services through the end of the contract date.
Which is in March?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have that date on me. But I can look. We can find that for you before.
Okay. Ms. Pitti.
Mr. Compton, can you give me a rough estimate of how long it would take if we rebid this to get a contract in place, to get a vote? I mean, we're looking at a lag time of health services, correct? I mean, if it ends in March and it takes 6 months to get back in front of the council, we're 3 to 4 months. I mean, is that a legitimate timeline? Is that?
I think the timeline you just spoke is legitimate, but what I would recommend is we extend this current contract until we're through with this process, determining if there's another vendor who's willing to do this work, which I believe the last time we bid this out, they were the only respondent. So we absolutely can go through this. It is about a 6-month process, like you said, to get it back through contract approval, coming back to the council and all that stuff. So if we want to do that, that just needs to be recommended by this body.
Okay. No, and just so everyone's aware, so this was never put out to bid. Like, this never went out for RFP. This is, for the record, me personally, I never want the absolute cheapest person running healthcare. Like, this is a CEA negotiation that took us 8, 9, 10 months to, nail down and everything like that. And we are making some changes here. But I just want everyone to understand that this is a professional services CA, and this is not a RFP. We're not building an animal shelter and getting the lowest person who can do the task for the cheapest price. Yep, Mr. Robert.
And, just to add to that, I mean, you do still look at their resumes and you look at their past and their professional services and what they have to offer. So I think that's certainly important in this process. And if nobody does apply, nobody does want to become involved in the process, that's okay too. Thank you.
Okay. So if there's no more questions at this time, I'm going to invite the league for your presentation.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Trevino, Chris Trevino. I am one of the two executive sponsors for Healthy Ascension. My co-executive sponsor, she's not here, but she's the CFO for Our Lady of the Lake Hospital, so she sort of helps us in that area. I'm going to be very brief. Shabri's going to do the large part of the presentation. She really is a subject matter expert who is in the details of it. What I want to share with the council, because when this began, there was a lot of new council members here that were not present when this all began. So I think it's worth kind of understanding how we got to where we are today. So we were asked, I don't know, about 4 years ago, if we would do an evaluation of the public health services, specifically at that time was behavioral health, that was happening here in the parish that we as a parish are responsible for providing. There was funds that were being made available and money being spent, but there was some concern on whether or not there was adequate services being applied, and the parish and the council itself, frankly, honestly needed help to understand what are those services, how do you measure them, what are the metrics for that, how do you measure quality, and if we're gonna spend money on it, are we spending money in the right direction? As you probably know, healthcare is very complicated, has a lot of regulatory components to it, and if you don't do it right, you can spend a lot of money in the wrong direction, and heaven forbid that you do things that are really illegal. Federal dollars, Medicare, Medicaid, all this is applied, so there's lots of rules on how to do that, how to bill and enroll and all of this. So we were asked to do an evaluation. We did. We gave a report to the council. The result of the report was that the council then came back and said, great, would you please review or revise this and include all public health that we, the parish, is responsible for providing. We'd like that evaluation as well. So we went through that process and we gave them the report. And what the report reflected very briefly is that there was lots of opportunity for improvement and certainly opportunity to provide metrics as it relates to what are you getting for the money that you're providing. And so the results of that report was that we were asked then, would you consider managing the public health? It's funds being provided by the parish. We'd provide the subject matter expertise in terms of the providers and the nursing and whatnot, and then manage that. And so, as Mr. Melanson indicated, it was an arduous journey to go through the process of creating that kind of contract. But we managed to get through it, and then we began. And so the first part was converting what our public health employed folks into what is a private health HR world. So that was a tricky negotiation that took us some time. But we got through that, and so we've been now up and running a little more than 2 years. Shabri's going to go through some data as to where we are and what has changed. So women's health is definitely an area that is a big need, especially in rural areas, and it's a statewide problem. So from a public health perspective, we certainly want to provide the highest level of that care that we can in the public health arena. Our Lady of the Lake, as you know, is a very large health system within this region, but we don't do a lot of women's health. We provide some primary care, but there's some things we don't do, and there are a lot of different reasons why that is, but there's really good women's health provided in this area. And so our recommendation to the parish was, let's get another partner to sort of take that piece on. And that's what today's amendment was really reflecting, was how do we make it better for our citizens. So I'm going to stop at this point. Shabri's going to do the presentation, and then we're available for answer questions.
Thank you. I'm Shabri Marks. I'm the Senior Operations Director for Lake Physician Group. So as Dr. Trevino said, this initiative began in July of 2023. And so the initiative was really a government-led initiative that brings together the strengths of the parish with those of FMOL, Our Lady of the Lake, to develop and implement programs and services to build stronger and healthier communities through ensuring that everybody has equal opportunity to live a healthy and vibrant life. And so here, as a result of our agreement, there were some deliverables that was in the appendices of the agreement. And so you'll see the deliverables on the left, you'll see, and so kind of like a stoplight report to kind of show where we are in the progress of those deliverables, right? So the green is complete, and so we meet regularly with Colleen to kind of go through where we are as a result of the agreement. And so all of these are shared with her that we have completed quarterly to kind of show our progress, right? And so the ones in yellow, we're still building that report out for the social determinants of health to get the referred services and get the information regarding the outcomes and the screening outcomes for that particular line item. And then for the on-site pharmacy services, we had a vendor that we were working with for those on-site pharmacy services, and they unfortunately went bankrupt. So we have implemented delivery services for our patients at the public health unit. So even though we don't have that on-site pharmacy services, the patients are still able, the residents are still able to get their medications before they leave the facility. And that was the goal there, right? To ensure that our residents have access to pharmacy services and are able to get those medications before they leave. And so you'll see here the smoking cessation in red, and that's one of the initiatives that we do have slated for this upcoming year. But we're looking for the best partner to partner with on that initiative. We're looking at American Heart Association and others to kind of see how we can make that program long-term successful. Behavioral health unit, so this is same thing, and I've already spoken to the on-site pharmacy services there. And then the children's health piece. So we're looking at the risk assessments and trying to make sure that based on the school-based needs, and we've been having regular conversations with the Ascension Parish School Board to see what is the best approach to implement those risk assessments and help work with them to develop plans and programs to address mental health in our students. And then you'll see the hearing and vision screens in red that Colleen mentioned earlier. That is driven by Ascension Parish School Board, and we don't have access to that data. And then you'll see the operations of the full-service health center on the West Bank that Colleen spoke to as well. And so here is, since the inception of the relationship and the inception of the initiative, here are some of the achievements that we've been able to accomplish since that relationship was established. So we've implemented EPIC. And so the EPIC, and some of these I will deep dive on a little bit later because I think it's important to highlight some of them a little bit more. So we've implemented EPIC. We've expanded the public health and behavioral health unit hours. We've increased immunization availability to 5 days a week. We've introduced pharmacy delivery services. We've enhanced interpreter services to the public and added interpreter services to the behavioral health unit. We've strengthened our court support and allotted exclusive appointment slots for the court-mandated patients. We've enabled on-site Medicaid enrollment. We've opened all services to walk-in, and we've augmented staffing and invested in comprehensive training and education for the staff. We've also implemented multiple layers of security to protect staff and ensure a safe working environment. We've launched a mobile health initiative. We've introduced a community-based outreach program. We've delivered pediatric-focused education inside of Ascension Parish schools. We've provided car seat education classes and ensured proper installation to promote safety. We've partnered with the Apple program through the school system. And we've continued the essential commodities distribution on both the east and west sides. And so some of these, as mentioned, I'll deep dive into them a little bit so you can understand the full impact of them, right? So for EPIC, how is EPIC important? Several of the entities in our parish, the larger entities, they have EPIC. And so what that does is provide our residents with the opportunity for continuity of care, ensuring that safety and quality is at the top tier to ensure that everyone remains, to the best of our ability, as healthy as possible. It also allows us to ensure that we are compliant from a regulatory standpoint, and from a community impact standpoint, that allows us to have better access to and equity, and then a foundation for additional growth. As a result of expanding the hours, prior to the relationship with Our Lady of the Lake, the public health unit was open 42 hours. As a result of the relationship, we've increased that to 47.5 hours. The behavioral health unit was also 42 hours. We've increased that to 56.5 hours, and we have the IOP group therapy 3 days per week. And then the mobile health unit did not exist, and so we're operating that to date 25.5 hours. As a result of that, our total visits went from year 0, and so some of this data we didn't have access to. So year 0 is prior to the relationship. So we didn't have significant access to the data before. So that's where you'll see on some of these graphs, you'll see the trend line there. And so year 1, as a result of the relationship, we've increased the total visits in the public health, or actually overall, by 3,249, and then transitioned in year 2 to 3,771. The STI testing visits, same trend line, 24 to 413 to 672. The women's health visits, in the prior to 298, and then you can see the upward trend to 1353, and then it kind of leveled off at 1329. And then WIC visits, similar trajectory, year 0 to 1, we kind of stagnant there, but then in year 2, we've increased by 5,500 visits. As a result of expanding the hours, and as mentioned before, the immunizations that we were able to provide, they were providing immunizations 8 hours per week, and so we've been able to increase that to the 47.5 hours. As we mentioned, walk-ins are available. And so you can see the immunization counts here. So they went from the total patients served was 870 to 1,100, about 1,100 to 792. And then the total number of immunizations went from about 1023 to 2,100 to 1,600. And so these trend lines here, the lower number of patients are attributed to the higher vaccine rates in year 1. In addition to that, it's also attributed to some of the governmental things that we see in the news with the immunization expectations changing. The Medicaid enrollment, so we've been able to enroll patients in Medicaid at our public health unit that didn't exist before. And you can see we've done a total of 333 plus applications. And I say plus because we're consistently doing that every day. We've augmented staffing. So prior to the relationship, there were 7.5 full-time equivalents, so FTEs, and then we've increased that to 16.7. In the behavioral health unit, we went from 6 FTEs to 21.8 FTEs. And as mentioned, the mobile health unit did not exist. And so we went to we have 2.3 FTEs there. And I would like for you to pay attention to, as the mobile health unit, we have one full-time APP there. As a result of the behavioral health unit that didn't exist before, we now have two full-time psychiatrists, one full-time APP, and we're in the process of hiring an additional APP to provide services there. And we have one full-time APP as well as a full-time pediatrician that's been added to the public health unit. And so our investment in training and education, there was minimal health-specific training being offered to the staff within the public mental health units. So as a result, we've been able to provide about 60 hours of annual health-related specific training to the team members. Regarding safety enhancements, as a result of their relationship, we've put in an executone tracking system that is added to the behavioral health unit for real-time staff monitoring and location. We've added panic buttons to both locations to ensure an immediate emergency response. And then we've added badge entry and access has been implemented to the public health unit and expanded in the behavioral health units. And you can see this comment from Beth, who was an employee of the parish, or who is an employee of the parish, and she's been with us throughout the duration of this relationship. No, sir. I was just giving you guys a little time to look at it. Thank you. We also launched the Mobile Health Unit Initiative, and as you can see, we're actively serving schools across the West Ascension, and we are supporting those schools today. And as mentioned, Donaldsonville High is slated for this month. And so you can see Dr. Walker's response, and she says, as the positive academic progress that they're seeing in Donaldsonville is a direct reflection of the impactful work that Healthy Ascension has been doing with their students. We've also introduced the community-based outreach program through lifestyle classes, nutrition classes, fitness classes, and mobile health unit services. And you can see that one of the participants in that lifestyle class, that she shared that heart disease runs in their family. And after 2 stents of 80% blockage in her heart, and the need to stay active, she's been happy to participate in that class. We've delivered pediatric-focused education inside the schools. So here are some of the pediatric-focused education. We did hygiene classes, healthy lifestyle classes, and playground safety. And here are the financials. So as a net patient revenue, you can see that we've been, according to our agreement, we've been asked to increase the billing, and so that's some of that revenue that we've been able to generate. And some of that is attributed to the Medicaid enrollment and the growth within the parish. In our operating expenses, that's related to the reinvestment back into the area by growing the staff and providing those services. And any other revenues have been reinvested back into the community. So what does the future entail? For the public health unit, the focus for the future is on chronic disease management programs through smoking cessation, sickle cell, diabetes, and hypertension, expansion of telehealth services for our rural residents, and then potentially launching the second public health unit that Colleen mentioned before. For the mental health unit, school-based mental health teams, expanded community mental health services, peer support groups for teen veterans and caregivers, and then opioid prevention and recovery. For the community outreach focus, we are looking at biannual health and wellness fairs on the east and west side, and then faith-based wellness coalitions, workplace wellness programs, and then healthy living campaigns via media, Ascension 21 and the social platforms. For the children's health focus for the future, additional nutrition and health education programs, expansion of WIC onto the west side, expansion of the mobile unit program with replacement of the current and purchase of an additional opioid prevention and early intervention for students as well as school-based health centers. And then what does success look like for us in 3 to 5 years? Children are growing up with healthier habits, fewer preventable hospital visits, stronger community trust in healthcare, and then a model that other parishes may want to replicate. Thank you.
All right, so we have some more questions.
Sure.
Mr. Robert.
I just have 2 questions for you. One of them, with the pharmacy, you had said that the pharmacy, it went bankrupt and closed down the
So
on-site.
the pharmacy vendor that we had for the on-site pharmacy, they went bankrupt, but
So-
we're still providing those pharmacy services.
And that's what my question is. You said that it's a delivery service
Correct.
and that
From our
the
RX
patients
one.
get the medicine before they leave. Do they get like the actual medicine or do they get it set up for a delivery? at
No,
home?
they can get medicine. If the prescriber prescribes it and sends it into our pharmacy, they can get the medicine before they leave.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, second question was just the 60 hours of the training. I was just curious, the types of resources. y'all
Oh,
been-
absolutely. I have that identified here. I'll speak to them. So some of that training includes additional WIC training, leadership training, annual education, clinical training, clerical training, as well as CPI training.
And was that in-house or outhouse?
So some of them are done in-house, but others, they have to go to one of our sister facilities in Baton Rouge to get that training. But it's
Okay,
still the
so-
training that's provided to the staff.
So it's still provide, okay, gotcha. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. PT.
Just a clarification question. We were talking about psychiatric services, and you said APP. I've been trying to.
Advanced practice provider.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Because I was
so-
like, if it was somewhere in there, I missed it. Okay.
That can either be a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Okay, so, all right, so currently we have Mr. Barnaby?
I would like to pull my amended motion, actually, and rescind it.
Okay. So Mr. Varner is going to remove his motion, and I'm actually going to offer the same motion. I make the motion that we approve the red line amended CEA that we have hard copy in front of us. I have a second from Mr. Arsenault. Are there any objections to that? Yes, we have objections. I'm sorry, before we vote, Mr. Joseph?
Yes. Ricky, if this proposal here is not accepted, what will the construction work on the health unit on the West Bank start, or it would wait till we rebid it, or we're gonna move forward with the construction to rehab that building for the services?
That effort is in its infancy. We are going to move forward with the preliminary conceptual design of what that building could be and move forward, hopefully with a provider who we can work with to tell us what their needs are within that space by the time we get to that point. But we're not stopping the process today of moving forward with the revision of that building.
Okay. I see Ms. Root got her finger up. If you don't mind, Mr. Chair, let me get her comment.
Yeah. Ms. Phillips?
So having been here from the inception of this with the administration team and with the previous council, this was a major undertaking to get a provider in to not only do what we were doing, but do it 1,000 times better than us. And one of the biggest issues that we had is that we have very loyal parish employees who wanted to remain parish employees, because otherwise they would have lost all their benefits that they had worked so hard for all these years. And so Luckily, OLOL was so gracious. We sat down, we worked it out. It took a lot of effort. And so I can imagine that some of our health and mental health workers that are still parish employees are watching this right now and are getting really, really nervous. And I also think a contract and an agreement of this type and the amount of financial commitment that OLOL puts forth with the mobile vehicles, with expanding all these services, if I was another health provider and I saw that every other year we might just flip-flop around, I would not bid on it. And West Ascension Hospital did go out for an RFQ. There was the 3 major companies that I will not name, but I can tell you that OLOL was the only one that stepped up and answered every question that was asked and is going to be doing the services for the new hospital.
Mr. Chairman, the only comment I have on that, I know on the West Bank, we used to have a health unit department. The building was built, and like I think 10 years ago, we don't have one. Like I said, we've been makeshifting it since those 10 years. So once again, I would like to see something happen, and so I'm in support of this.
All right, so, so I made the motion to approve the amended CA. Mr. Arsenault gave me a second, so, and, Mr. Robert did object, so at this time, we will be voting to approve the amended CEA redline version that we have. So if everyone could please vote. All right. And so the yeas do have it 6-3. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item, let me see. See, before we move on, I really appreciate everybody's input there. That's good conversation. I appreciate it. 7D, the resolution to move precinct 42 from the current location of the Ascension Christian Academy located at 10473 Airline Highway, Gonzales to Pecan Grove Primary, 1712 South Pecan Grove Avenue. And so our clerk of court, Miss Bridget, reached out to us, and the reason for the move, Ascension Christian Academy no longer wishes to be a precinct and everything, and so South and Pecan Grove Primary has graciously volunteered. So we yep. All right, we have a motion by Ms. Beatty and a second by Mr. Vornado. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved. And 8A, personnel recommendations. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dennis Cullen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's see, we had a personnel committee meeting, and we had one new appointment to the Industrial Development Board, Mr. Kirk Kallenberger.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Hillensbeck, a second by, I believe that was Mr. Joseph. Are there any objection to Mr. Kirk? Hearing none, so moved.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Cullen. And at this point, we, I should have actually did the invocation for Mr. Dupatti tonight, because he needs a prayer for the next 20, 25 minutes. 9A, reading of ordinances to authorize Ascension Parish government through the office of the parish president to purchase or otherwise acquire certain parcels, right-of-way, and/or servitudes for the Move Ascension program, particularly Project LA 621 at Roddy Road Roundabout, project number MA 19-02. Mr. Dupatti.
Purpose to authorize the Ascension Parish government through the office of the parish president to purchase or otherwise acquire certain parcels, right-of-ways, and/or servitudes for the Move Ascension program, particularly Project LA 621 at Roddy Road Roundabout, parish project number MA 1902, Road 20008. Whereas the Ascension Parish government desires to acquire certain movable property, and whereas there is a need and public purpose for the acquisition of certain movable property for the road improvement associated with the Move Ascension program, and whereas the Ascension Parish government does hereby desire to acquire the property, servitudes, and/or rights of ways, and authorize the office of the parish president to do whatever is necessary to enter into negotiations and acquire said property, servitudes, and/or right of ways. Now therefore be it ordained, the Ascension Parish Governing Authority authorizes the Ascension Parish Government through the office of the parish president to acquire by purchase of parcels of immovable property for the projects named LA 621 at Roddy Road, roundabout project number MA 1902 Road 20008. That includes the following parcels: 111213, 142122, 22D1, 23, 24, 31, and 41. The ordinance is being adopted in conformity with Section 601 of Ascension Parish Charter. The ordinance has been submitted to vote. Vote thereon was as follows.
You're gonna have to wait till they get back.
Right, we can't even do the public hearing, right?
No.
Yeah, we only have 5 of us. I guess they had to take a restroom break. OJ, go get somebody. I'm finishing year 6. This is a first for me. One, two, three. All right, we have a motion for public hearing by Ms. Petey, a second by Mr. Vornado. Motion to close public hearing by Mr. Joseph, a second by Mr. Vornado. Motion to move the ordinance by Ms. Petey and a second by Mr. Vornado. Are there any questions? Any objections? Hearing none, so moved. 9D, to authorize Ascension Parish Government through the office of the parish president to purchase or otherwise acquire certain parcels, right-of-way, and/or servitudes in the Move Ascension program, particularly LA 44 at Parker Roundabout, parish project number MA 2205. Mr. Dupatti.
To authorize the Ascension Parish Government through the office of the parish president to purchase or otherwise acquire certain parcels, right-of-way, and/or servitudes for the Move Ascension program, particularly project LA 44 at Parker Road Roundabout, parish project number MA 2205, Road 220024. Whereas Ascension Parish Government desires to acquire certain movable property, and whereas there is a need in the public purpose for the acquisition of certain movable property for the road improvements associated with the Move Ascension program, and whereas the Ascension Parish Government does hereby desire to acquire the property, servitudes, and rights of ways, and authorize the office of parish president to do whatever is necessary to enter into negotiations and acquire said property, servitudes, and/or right of ways. Now therefore be it ordained, the Ascension Parish Governing Authority authorizes the Ascension Parish Government through the office of parish president to acquire by purchase of the parcels of movable property for the project named LA 44 Parker Road Roundabout, project number MA 2205, Road 220024. That includes the following parcels: 1112, AR13, and AR14. The ordinance is being adopted in conformity with Section 601 of the Ascension Parish Charter. The ordinance has been submitted to vote. Vote down as follows.
Motion to open public hearing by Mr. Vornado, a second by Mr. Hillsbeck. Motion to close public hearing by Mr. Joseph, a second by Mr. Cullen. Motion to move the ordinance by Mr. Petey and a second by Mr. Robert. Is there any objection? Hearing none, so moved. 9G, to amend the Ascension Parish Unified Land Developmental Code, Appendix 5, drainage, specifically amend Section 17-506, a protection of existing watersheds and conveyance systems, and to amend to Section 17-5013, design criteria. Mr. Dupatti.
Purpose: to amend the Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code, LDC, Appendix 5, drainage, specifically amend Section 17-506A, protection of existing watersheds and conveyance systems, and amend Section 17-5013, design criteria. Whereas Ascension Parish is a local government subdivision as defined by Article 6, Section 44 of the Louisiana Constitution of 1974, and whereas the parish of Ascension is the governing and responsible body over the planning and zoning regulations within its jurisdiction, and whereas Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish, adopted May 4, 1993, identifies the process and manner in which to adopt ordinances regulating the lands of its parish, and now therefore be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority that the Unified Land Development Code of Ascension Parish, Appendix 5, drainage is amended as follows, as more fully described in Exhibit A attached hereto and made a part hereof. Repeal all ordinances or parts of ordinances, conflict herewith are hereby and henceforth repealed. Severability in the event any portion of this ordinance is ever held invalid or unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision, and shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of the ordinance. Effective date: this ordinance should be in full effect as permitted by law. The ordinance has been submitted to a vote. The vote thereon is as follows.
Motion to open public hearing by Mr. Robert. A second by Mr. Cullen. Motion to close by Mr. Hillsbeck. Second by Mr. Joseph. Motion to move the ordinance by Mr. PT. Second by Mr. Robert. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so moved. 9J, reading of an ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish Unified Land Developmental Code, Appendix 4, subdivision regulations, specifically to amend Attachment B, drainage impact study procedure, amend Section 17-405 preliminary plat procedures, and amend Section 17-4026 family petition. Mr. Dupatti.
Purpose to amend the Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code, Appendix 4, subdivision regulations, specifically amend Attachment B, drainage impact study procedure, amend Section 17-405 preliminary plot procedure, and amend Section 17-4026 family partition. Whereas Ascension Parish is a local governmental subdivision as defined by Article 6, Section 44 of the Louisiana Constitution, 1974, and whereas the Parish of Ascension is the governing and responsible body with the planning and zoning with regulations within its jurisdiction, and whereas Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish, adopted May 4, 1993, identifies the process and manner in which to adopt ordinances regulating the lands of this parish, and now therefore be ordained by the Ascension Parish governing authority that the Unified Land Development Code of Ascension Parish, Louisiana, Appendix 5, drainage is amended as follows, as more fully described in Exhibit A attached here to and made a part hereof. Repeal all ordinances, all parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and are hereby and henceforth repealed. Severability in the event that any portions of this ordinance is ever held invalid or unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision and shall not affect the validity of the remaining portion of the ordinance. Effective date, this ordinance shall be in full effect as permitted by law. This ordinance has been submitted to vote on as follows.
Motion to open public hearing by Mr. Robert, second by Mr. Vornado. Motion to close by Mr. Cullen, a second by Mr. Vornado. Motion to move the ordinance by Mr. Vornado. We do have one question. Mr. Hillensbeck.
How is this like, is it tightening it or making it easier?
Basically, with the hydraulic capacities and attachment being a drainage impact study procedure, what we're doing is we're defining more specifically different situations and how far they got to go downstream to do their capacity analysis, because there was some iffiness in there.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to tighten that up. And basically, the second item on the preliminary plat procedure is we have something that gives a time limit when they submit a preliminary plat, when they do their construction drawings. But if you've got a subdivision that somebody starts and then it sits for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, we want the ability to go back and to either push them along and get them to go ahead and complete it, or to redo traffic drainage studies and things of that nature. And then the last thing with the family partition is when we created the C5 zoning category, 3, 4 years ago, the one thing that concerned us was the fact that the family partition section of the ordinance allows you to go down to a minimum of 1/2 acre lots regardless of zoning category. The reason we did the C5 was to create the larger lots with the lower densities to prevent fill, to get more points for the flood insurance program. And there was a concern that if something happens in the future, that a family partition, you could go and you could subdivide these 5 acre lots to 1/2 acre lots. And so we're cleaning that up.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Ms. PT?
Just for the benefit of the council, can you give the conservation lot sizes requirements, just so they know everything?
The C5 lots is 5 acres and it's 1 unit per 5 acres.
1 per 5, thank you.
And most of those lots are wetlands and outside the levee system.
Correct.
Like, there's not a whole lot of actual.
We took all the buildable lots basically and excluded them from it, so it's basically small for the most part. But better safe than sorry.
All right, so I did have a motion from Mr. Vornado, right? I do not have a second. All right, we got a second from Mr. Hillensbeck. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so moved. 9M, to amend the Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances to create a road infrastructure district designated as Parish of Ascension Road Infrastructure District number ID-2025-01, Riverton Second Filing, pursuant to the Ascension Parish Unified Land Developmental Code, Appendix 4, Subdivision Regulations, Section 17-4011, Approval of Final Plat Procedure. Mr. Dupatti.
Purpose to amend the Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances to create a road infrastructure district designated as Parish of Ascension Road Infrastructure District, IDD 2025-01, Riverton Second Filing, pursuant to Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code, Appendix 4, Subdivision Regulations, Section 17-4011, Approval of Final Plat Procedure F, Infrastructure Development District. Whereas Ascension Parish is a local government subdivision as defined by Article 6, Section 44 of the Louisiana Constitution, 1974. And whereas the Parish of Ascension is governing and responsible body over subdivisions, and whereas Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish adopted May 4, 1993 identifies the process and manner which to adopt ordinances regulating the lands of this parish. And now therefore be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority that a road infrastructure district designated as Ascension Road Infrastructure ID D 2025-01 be created pursuant to Unified Land Development Code of Ascension Parish, Louisiana, Appendix 4, Subdivision Regulation Section 17-4011, approval of final plat procedure F, Infrastructure Development District with the boundaries of the Road Infrastructure District defined as and made a part of the subdivision of Ascension Parish, named Riverton, second filing as more fully described in Exhibit A, a description exhibit to create an Ascension Parish Road Infrastructure District attached here to and made a part hereof, severability. In the event that any portion of this ordinance is ever held invalid unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision and shall not affect the validity of the main portions of the ordinance. Effective date: this ordinance shall be in full effect as permitted by law. This ordinance has been submitted to a vote. The vote thereon is as follows.
Motion open for public hearing by Mr. Robert, a second by Mr. Cullen. Motion to close by Mr. Arsenault, a second by Mr. Hillensbeck. Motion moved to ordinance by Ms. Petey, a second by Mr. Vornado. Is there any objection? Hearing none, so moved. 9P, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from conservation to heavy industrial, light industrial, medium intensity residential, and mixed use. Zoning review ID PZ 3757.25, Zerang Properties located on the south side of LA Highway. The highway number is missing. Do you know the highway number off the top of your head, mister? 405. South side of LA Highway 405, approximately 2,200 feet east of Mulberry Grove Road. Mr. Dupatti.
Purpose: the ordinance amends the official zoning designation of Zerang Properties, attached legal description from conservation to heavy industrial, light industrial, medium industrial, and mixed use. This rezone is identified as zoning review ID PZ 3757.25, whereas Ascension Parish is a local government subdivision as defined by Article 6, Section 44 of the Louisiana Constitution, 1974, and whereas the Parish of Ascension is the governing and responsible body over the zoning regulations within its jurisdiction, and whereas Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish adopted May 4, 1993 identifies the process and manner in which to adopt ordinances regulating the lands of this parish, and whereas the official zoning map of Ascension Parish was last adopted on March 8, 2016, and whereas the Parish Council reserves the authority to make changes to the official zoning map by ordinance, and whereas the request has been processed in compliance with the procedures set forth, be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority that the official zoning map of Ascension Parish, Louisiana is amended to reflect the property identified in Exhibit A as heavy industrial, medium industrial, light industrial, and mixed use as the official zoning designation, severability. And in the event that any portion of this ordinance is held invalid, unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision and shall not affect the validity of the remaining portion of the ordinance. Effective date: this ordinance shall be in full effect as permitted by law. Exhibits: A, legal description; B, plat map; C, aerial zoning map. Adoption of this ordinance has been submitted to vote. The vote on as follows.
Motion open public hearing by Mr. Hillensbeck, second by Mr. Vornado. Motion closed by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Cullen. Motion to move to ordinance by Mr. Hillensbeck, second by Mr. Cullen. Is there any objection? Hearing none, so moved. 9S, reading of an ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to mixed use 2, zoning review ID PZ-3773.25, Lot B1 of Crawfish Properties LLC, located on the west side of LA Highway 73, approximately 380 foot south of Cattle Avenue. Mr. Dupatti.
Purpose: this ordinance amends the official zoning designation for Lot B1 for Crawfish Aquatic, attached legal description from medium intensity residential to mixed use 2. This rezone is identified as zoning review ID PZ 3773.25, whereas Ascension Parish is a local government subdivision as defined by Article 6, Section 44 of the Louisiana Constitution of 1974, and whereas the Parish of Ascension is the governing responsible body with the zoning and regulations within its jurisdiction. And whereas Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish, adopted May 4, 1993, identifies the process and manner in which to adopt ordinances regulating the lands of this parish. And whereas the official zoning map of Ascension Parish was last adopted March 8, 2016, and whereas the parish council reserves the authority to make changes to the official zoning map by ordinance, and whereas whereas this request has been processed in compliance with the procedures set forth, be it ordained by the Ascension Parish governing authority that the official zoning map of Ascension Parish, Louisiana, is amended to reflect the property identified in Exhibit A as mixed use 2 as the official zoning designation. Severability in the event any portion of this ordinance is ever held invalid or unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision, shall not affect the validity of the remaining portion of the ordinance. Effective date, this ordinance shall be in full effect as permitted by law. Exhibits A, legal description, B, plat map, C, area zoning map. Adoption of this ordinance having been submitted to vote down as follows.
Motion to open public hearing by Mr. Robert. Second by Mr. Cullen. Motion to close by Mr. Joseph. Second by Mr. Francis. Motion to move the ordinance by Mr. Hillensbeck. Second by Ms. P.T. Is there any objection? Hearing none, so moved. 9V, reading of an ordinance to amend the ordinance adopting a classification plan to adjust pay rates to allow for a 2026 cost of living adjustment for all Ascension Parish government employees effective January 5th, 2026. Mr. Dupatti.
Purpose, to amend an ordinance adopted on January 18, 2024, amending Section 16-1 of the Ascension Parish Code. Ordinances adopted by the Ascension Parish Council on June 20, 1996, adopting a pay classification plan to adjust pay ranges to allow for a 2026 cost of living adjustment COLA effective January 5th, 2026, whereas the Parish of Ascension, through the Ascension Parish Council under lawful session, passed an ordinance adopting an official pay classification plan, and whereas the original ordinance established a uniform system for reimbursing, promoting, and classifying Ascension Parish personnel, and whereas the plan was last amended on January 18, 2024, and is in need of further revision, and whereas the Human Resources Director has prepared a revision of the pay classification plan, and whereas the Parish President has accepted the revised plan and proposed a revision to the Parish Council for review, now therefore be it ordained that the Ascension Parish Council does hereby authorize the amendment of the pay classification plan attached as Exhibit A proposed by the Human Resources Department and submitted by the Parish President of a 2026 COLA of 2.5% across all labor grades effective January 5th, 2026. Effective date, this ordinance shall be in full effect as permitted by law. This ordinance has been submitted to vote down as follows.
Motion to open public hearing by Mr. Hillensbeck, second by Mr. Vornado. Motion to close by Ms. P.T., a second by Mr. Vornado. Motion to move the ordinance by Mr. Hillensbeck and a second by Mr. Vornado. Are there any questions? No, any objections? Hearing none, so moved. And at this time, Chair will need a motion and a second to enter executive session, and we will have to vote. Motion. Have a motion to enter executive session by Mr. Francis, a second by Mr. P.T. If everyone would please vote. All right, we will enter executive session. I have a motion to reconvene by Mr. PT, a second by Mr. Vornado.
Motion to go back into executive.
So 10B is executive session for Rural Roots, Louisiana Bucket Brigade versus Ascension Parish Council, Chase Melissa and Blaine PT, 23rd Judicial Court, number C 145696, Division D. Motion to go into executive session by Mr. Vornado. And a second by Mr. Cullen. Everyone will please vote. All right, we are in executive session.
Motion to reconvene.
All right, we have a motion to reconvene by Ms. Petey, a second by Mr. Vornado. Chair will entertain a motion.
I move to emphatically deny the request.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Petey to emphatically deny the request of no service, and a second by Mr. Vornado. Is there any objection? Hearing none, so moved. And I have a motion adjourned by Mr. Hillensbeck and a second by Mr. Vornado. Happy holidays, everybody. We are adjourned.